Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are now live with the law office of Don Dennis. And today we're talking about some current events, this entire Lizzo lawsuit. She has a popular song called Truth Hurts. And indeed, as the title stated, she was right. The truth is going to hurt someone. As you know, this channel explores how you can best protect your business and how you can be successful in your business deals. And also, we use real life examples to find out things that are helpful and things that are not so great in terms of what you can apply to your business and in your daily lives. So, again, I am attorney Don Dennis, your gracious host. I'm glad you're here. And I invite all of you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for these videos because you do not want to miss out on this content. As I'm sure many of you are aware, you've heard the story in the news just like I did. However, I was very slow to begin to speak on the story because I wanted to do my own research and find out what was in the complaint. The complaint is the first part of the lawsuit. So basically, what's going on here is that Lizzo had a show, and she still does have the show called Watch Out for the Big Girls. The show, as you can see on your screen, is on Amazon. It's been wildly successful. I believe it was renewed for another season. And some of the contestants on the show are actually competing to be a part of her touring company and to be dancers in that touring company. And unfortunately, because of the way that they feel they were treated while working for Lizzo, they filed this lawsuit and they're suing Melissa Jefferson, Lizzo's real name, her touring company, and a lady named Shirlene Quigley. And Quigley is the dance instructor, and she, is a dancer as well. So, nevertheless, the crux of this is that as the dancers were on tour and going to different cities and going all over the world with Lizzo, they stated they were exposed to extremely sexual content, exposed to nudity, forced to listen to vulgar music while riding in the bus, and a whole host of other things. And that the sexual content of the whole atmosphere was just way overboard. For example, they said when they were in Amsterdam earlier this year, it wasn't mandatory, but they were expected to go to sex clubs, nude shops, watch people do all type of vulgar sex acts with food such as bananas and things of that nature. And they weren't necessarily told they have to go, but they did it because they didn't want to jeopardize their position on the dance team or lose their job. So they hung out with her. So let's talk about some of the basics here so we're all on the same page. First and foremost, in order to get a lawsuit started, you have to file what is called a complaint. And basically, you're complaining about something. And so in this complaint, you file it, fill it out. Typically, your attorney does it. They pay a fee and they file it with the court. And the other side gets notice, meaning they get a copy of it. They're told, look, you're being sued. This is what's going on. Inside of that complaint are allegations. Allegations are things that if you're suing, you're declaring as true, but you haven't proven them yet. And it's important that everything that we're talking about today are merely allegations that were stated in the complaint filed by these dancers. Nothing has been proven yet. The reason that this is so important is because as a business owner and just as an individual in society, especially in America, we have a judicial system. So anyone can allege or say that anyone else or any company did something, but until evidence is submitted, until the other side has an opportunity to address the allegations, they're merely allegations. So without proof, they're just things thrown up there and it is what it is. So basically, we don't know what's true and what's not true in this case or in many other cases, until we have a trial or until we complete this process. And this whole process is designed to find out the truth. That is the purpose of the court process, to get to the truth. Everyone gets an opportunity to speak. And if there's a judge involved, a bench trial, the judge makes a decision. If it's a jury trial, the jury votes and decides whether or not one person is right or liable, or one person is wrong. Liable means that you're responsible for what happened. So the people suing Lizzo want her to be found liable, responsible for the things they're saying that she did. And what are they suing for? They're suing for what is called damages, which is money. They want to be compensated for the medical expenses that they incurred, having to deal with the different types of harassment they were subjected to. They want financial compensation. They want a whole host of other things. But the bottom line is they want money and more of it. And also they want attorney's fees, because they don't want to have to pay the attorneys for all the work they're going to have to do to bring this case to bear. So what are specifically some of the things that they're suing for? They're suing, saying that they were in a hostile work environment and Lizzo, failed to prevent it or to fix it. What was the hostile work environment? Sexual harassment, being forced or pressured to go to sex clubs, being forced or pressured under certain circumstances to dance in outfits that were very revealing, almost to the point of being nude, being forced to take pictures, being forced to do this and that. So a whole host of other things, which they said created a hostile work environment that they had to work in because they were depending on this for employment and for money to take care of themselves. Also, they're suing for religious harassment. So how does that come into play? Well, what they're saying is that the dance instructor that I mentioned earlier, Miss Quigley, was a very pro-Christian lady. And she would often tell them of the importance of being a Christian, the importance of prayer. They would pray before they would go out and perform their songs and dance and things of that nature. And she stressed to them they shouldn't engage in premarital sex. But at the same time, they stated that she was a hypocrite because she was sitting up talking to them about masturbation. She was also talking to them about oral sex or fake oral sex and a whole host of other things. So this whole conundrum that she placed the dancers in, they stated was religious harassment, and their personal beliefs or religion had nothing to do with their job or job performance. And because the management company nor Lizzo fixed the matter or stopped it, they're suing them as well, because they're saying, look, you're the employer, you were responsible for your employees, even if they were lower level managers or supervisors that we had to deal with every day. And because you knew what was going on and you didn't stop it, you're responsible as well. In addition, they're suing for racial harassment. The interesting thing about this is that, as we know, Lizzo is Black, and the dancers that are suing for racial harassment are Black as well. So how exactly does that work? Well, the reason they're suing for racial harassment is they're saying that they were treated differently than the non-Black dancers. They were told they were lazy, unprofessional, had bad attitudes, but they said that the non-Black dancers were never talked to or treated like that. Before I go any further, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. This is the only channel that's going in depth into this complaint and not merely repeating what other news sources are saying about the story. We're getting real down into the depth of the complaint and the details so you know what's going on. Also, they're suing for disability discrimination. One of the dancers that's bringing this lawsuit stated that while she was being interviewed and considered for this, she went through a psychological examination, and it was revealed, and she disclosed to them that she suffered from anxiety, depression, and binge eating. And once she began working and those details came out again, they used it against her and treated her unfairly. They told her to go to therapy, but at the same time, if she was away, she was pressured to feel that she might lose her position on the dancing squad. And they made a host of other comments, she stated. So that's why she's suing for disability discrimination. Also, interestingly enough, they are suing for assault. One of the dancers said after she was confronted in one setting by Lizzo, Lizzo came up to her. Lizzo was cursing her out. Lizzo was cracking her knuckles. Lizzo balled up her fist. And actually, some of the other workers had to intervene between Lizzo and her to prevent Lizzo from attacking her. Now, assault is different from battery. Assault means the reasonable apprehension of bodily harm. So do you actually fear, and it's reasonable to fear, that someone's about to hurt you, harm you, or something like that? That's assault. But when someone actually touches you, spits on you, pushes you, that is battery. So they're suing here for assault. So that's the distinction. And lastly, they're suing for false imprisonment. What exactly is false imprisonment? Well, the false imprisonment is basically holding someone against their will, whether you physically hold them, whether you lock all the doors around them so they can't leave, or something to that effect. So in this situation, one of the dancers was confronted for recording a meeting that she had with Lizzo. And at that meeting, she was informed that she was supposed to just be getting feedback, and all the dancers are going to get feedback on their performance. Well, after she got fired, she was told, "You're fired, but you can't leave this room until you allow the security team to search your phone and search your contents and make sure that you've deleted that previous meeting you recorded and you deleted any other files." So she finally gave in, allowed them to search out her phone. And when they confirmed what she said, that she had deleted those files, they allowed her to go. But the bottom line is you cannot hold anyone against their will. And therefore, if that is true, they do have a claim for false imprisonment. So those are the main things that they're suing for and that they want to be paid for. So what are some tips that we can take from this to apply for any business owner? And again, all of these are allegations. Nothing has been proven yet. Nothing has been cross-examined yet. The evidence is still yet to be produced. But this is the early stages of this case, and these are just allegations. So moving forward, what can you do as a business owner to protect yourself? One, have a litigation budget. It is almost inevitable that something can happen as you're running your business. So you want to have money set aside as it's growing for litigation in case you need to hire an attorney, get an attorney's opinion, respond to a letter, or just help you manage the daily affairs of things that are a little touchy with your business. Two, have insurance. You want to have a good commercial insurance policy, insurance when you go perform places, insurance to protect your dancers in this case, or your staff members in case anyone is harmed or any type of issues pop up. Workers' comp insurance as well, in case someone is injured on the job. So you want to have insurance. And three, screen your employees. And after you screen your employees, make an informed decision based on what you know you're going to have your employees do to determine if they are the best fit for the job. In this circumstance, it was told by the plaintiff's own admission in the complaint. They told their employer, look, I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from depression. Sometimes if I'm under high stress situations, I end up binge eating and things of that nature. Well, if you hear that from a potential employee and you know the rigors of the job you're going to have them doing, whether it's performing nude or partially nude or traveling to places that, promote nudity or a lot of sexual content. And if you feel that the person is not comfortable with that, you need to be clear with them about that. And maybe that's not the best employee for that job. So one, have a litigation budget. Two, have insurance. And three, screen your employees and make note of who is and who is not the best candidate for the position. What are some tips that performers or employees can take away from this situation? One, have a clear understanding of your employment contract or your scope of work. Know what exactly you're going to be asked to do, where you're going to be asked to go, what hours you're going to be asked to do it, how long of an employment contract. That was another issue that was brought up in this lawsuit. The fact that, their work schedule was a little uncertain at times, and they were uncertain if they were going to get paid or if they should take another job and things of that nature. So if you're not necessarily comfortable with those things, being unemployed for long periods of time, and you don't have savings to sustain yourself, you want to be sure that this is the right job that you should take as an employee or independent contractor. Two, research the employer. Ask questions. Ask other people, friends or colleagues that you have that do the same work, if they've heard anything about working with this employer, if they've worked with this employer. Talk to some former employees. See what their experience was like. Did they enjoy it? Would they recommend you do it, or would they be interested in doing it again? It's so vital to ask some of these questions to save you a lot of time and heartache. And then lastly, if in fact, unfortunately, something comes up while you're working that's, unforeseeable, that you don't like, that's contrary to your contract, you have to take notes and keep evidence. So you want to take notes in the form of videos, recording, and you have to advise people in certain states that you're going to record them, and written notes. So if you can't video record it, when you get, private time, you want to record the date, the time, and what happened. And then lastly, you want to put the employer on notice. Send them an email, send them a note, telling them about things that are happening so that you have proof. So if you get to a situation like this and you're going to court, it's not just your word versus their word. You actually have something where you can show, hey, these are my notes. I told the employer about what was going on. And there's no denying that everyone was informed up front. So again, we're going to watch to see what happens with this case, but I hope that this brief summary makes you more knowledgeable about what's going on. And again, I invite you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for this channel, because we aim to really inform and enhance your understanding of business and the law. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day.